this person can come in and eliminate contracts, they can sell equipment, and they are accountable only to the state treasurer and the governor. And I don't remember voting for the state treasurer, do you? Okay, so there isn't even any board that the emergency manager has to report to in order to make sure that they're doing the right work. Is there a pay scale for the emergency manager?
There's certainly no pay cap. One of the amendments that we had on the Senate floor was to say that if you're going into especially one of our struggling school districts or communities, you shouldn't be able to make more than the governor of the state of Michigan makes. And our Republican colleagues voted that amendment down. So we have, right now, an emergency manager that makes $400,000 a year in a struggling school district. So
well, the governor makes $1, doesn't the emergency manager can make $1?
I think that's what his actual salary is.
Yeah.
Not he's making.
So in Ypsilanti, and I'm pretty sure City Council feels the same way, the last thing I want to see is an emergency manager in the city of Ypsilanti. We're going to do everything we need to do in order to keep an emergency manager away. It's going to mean that we're going to have to make some decisions. If Lansing's not going to make the tough decisions, we're going to have to make the tough decisions. It's not going to be pretty, but we're going to have to try as much as we can. The only thing that we're not going to be able to do that an emergency manager can do is break contracts. So I think this is terrible legislation. I know I wrote to Representative Rutledge with a number of complaints, and I think I copied Senator Warren on that too. And again, tell your representative, tell your senator that this is not what we need. I know it's law now, but you got to keep complaining. You got to keep telling them that we need to invest, and we don't need the punishment. We need to encourage people to invest in cities. And the other thing I say is that Ypsilanti, I think I talked about this earlier, is we've had the same city manager for 15 years. And we are a well-run city. And just because you're an urban city doesn't mean you're corrupt. So there's got to be a way of rewarding cities like Ypsilanti that have done an excellent job of managing finances and are just being tied into knots by the state. So I'll go to my panelists.
Thank you. You know, some of the things that I'm pretty proud of in the short time that I've been here with the Ypsilanti Public Schools is that even though we've had some serious financial challenges, we were still able to raise our test scores at the elementary and middle school level. You know, and I think that speaks to the dedication of some quality staff members who work day in and day out to do what is right and in the best interest of kids. Additionally, under my administration and with support of many staff members as well as other school districts, we've taken some aggressive steps to redesign our local high school and submit a plan that we feel good about with support of teachers, parents, even students on the committee, business, community members. We developed a plan, submitted to the state, and it was approved on the very first time about redesigning our high school. We're involved with our Early College Alliance, reaching across, working with other districts and providing early college access to students. We're embarking upon an international baccalaureate high school program. We're reaching back to pick up students who had dropped out of the public school systems by implementing our WAVE, which is our widening advancement for youth program, to capture kids who are struggling or kids who have previously dropped out of the K-12 system, as well as an innovative and exciting program such as New Tech. So we feel pretty good about some of the things that we've accomplished. However, when you talk about bringing in an emergency financial manager, the problem I have with this is that in a heartbeat, they can devalue all of the gains that we're seeing for our kids overnight. You lose that voice for the parents. You lose that voice of the educators. You lose that voice of people who are passionate and work day in and day out to do what's in the best interest of our children. And you do it to give someone just the ability to come in and break contracts and tinker with financial numbers on the budget sheet. that does not tell me about the life of a senior that I had last year who was homeless. And as I challenged him about his behavior and started learning more about this kid, started learning that this kid was working in Subway, putting himself through high school. How is a financial manager sitting in the office just coming up with numbers going to be able to make these type of decisions that will impact this child's life? I think that's going to be a hard sell for me. So, you know, I'm very concerned. I have probably made no secrets about the need for change in Ypsilanti public schools. I think that we need to change a lot of things and a lot of our practice, policies, and procedures just because it's the right thing to do. And that includes budgetary situations. But I'm very concerned when we allow numbers in the budget to get to the point where it will totally dictate what opportunities our kids will be able to have. And when you bring in a financial manager, you know, what is that going to do for our staff? I see you really breaking down the morale of a lot of teachers who are invested, and there's no place they'd rather be but working in an urban district doing good work for kids who need it.
Perspective, this act is simply a way to do what Governor Walker did in Wisconsin, which is take away the right for public employees to collectively bargain. Just do it a little differently. And I don't know about you, but I don't really think the problem in the state of Wisconsin or the state of Michigan is public school teachers or fire or police or our city workers are just making too much money. If we could just pay our people less, we could just pay these people a little bit less and make them suffer a little bit more, everything will be okay. I just don't think that's the way to success, and this act makes no sense for reasons that my colleagues on the panel stated, and let's just hope that over time, again, we change who's elected and this law gets overturned.
I would like to say a word of most sincere thanks to all of you on the panel for being here with us tonight and for sharing your presentations and for being so gracious with your question and answer period and staying a little bit over time to do that. So thank you all for joining me. That one last ask of you, that you find something on this yellow sheet that you can do to help spread the word, to take action, to make this budget, which is a living document. The governor has only presented it to us. We have a lot of work to do to make it reflect our values. And so if there was ever a time that you needed to dig deep into your personal holiday card list and your Facebook and your Twitter accounts and your email list and your Rolodex, however you keep your contacts, please make sure people know, because we can't let the other side keep stating as fact things like the citizens of Michigan have spoken and they've said no new revenue. I've heard this so many times in the last week. And what the truth is that in 2010, while Tea Party folks were winning elections and feeling empowered,